Right, I believe I'm answering a question from Tony. Tony, hello. Tony's third on the list.
Thanks very much. I am third on the list.
Yes.
So I look up to him, but the trouble is I've got to go down on my knees to do that.
Yeah,
and I also look up to him over there. Now, I've been a member of the of UKIP for the past 12 years, and I have stood for various candidacies in local elections. I've also stood for Parliament 3 times. What was my reasoning for doing it? I mean, let's be honest, the first time I stood, I didn't have a hope in hell of winning a seat. The poll rating was around 2% at that time. It was great fun. I was able to turn up at hustings, and fantastic. I was able to drive in, and suddenly there was a parking space with my name on it. Wow. Second one, I thought, well, let's have a bit of real fun this time. And I stood down in Torbay. I had a good idea, and that was to get my face on some public transport buses. So did that. 16 buses went around Torbay for the period of 5 weeks with my face on the back. And no jokes, please, face like the back end of a bus. It was unnerving. What effect did it have? Well, it meant that I couldn't walk down the street in Torbay without somebody recognising me, getting ready to either throw something at me or come out and tell me they totally agreed with me, or to say that they were going to vote for me. And did well on that one. Now we've moved on, in my opinion, to a totally different form of advertising, getting out the message. I like all this kit. Works well. I like the fact that somebody's going to take a photograph over there, and I'll probably get a beep on my telephone in about 5 minutes where it'll say, where I'll be able to look at the photograph that's been taken. Somebody else will we've got videos going on here. That video will go onto YouTube. That YouTube will be gone out, and I'll get a telephone call tonight. Hey, Tony, you weren't bad on that. You weren't bad at all. Oh, thank you. Or I'll get some other derogatory comment which I can't possibly repeat in public. Now, my question to Carl is, he's doing this for the first time. Is he barking mad? to actually decide to do a tour of the southwest of England, to go to Exeter, where some bright spark decides that they've got a chocolate milkshake, that it might be a good idea wandering around with a yellow t-shirt on. And I was later told by somebody watching, yes, well, he's a member of Exeter University who is an ardent Liberal Democrat. He goes around being a Liberal Democrat all the time, and there he is throwing a chocolate milkshake at Milo and Carl. And Milo, I think it was, who copped the worst of it.
Yeah, it didn't get me at all.
It didn't get you. Milo, no. Well, you were lucky that Milo is the height that he is, because he was an excellent shield for you.
He was.
And then we go. Was down in Plymouth with you as well, and we go back to the bus, and somebody else has thrown, this time a different coloured milkshake on the against the bus, and with true intelligence, had actually taken a film of herself doing it, and then put that up on YouTube, and that is in effect criminal damage. Whether we're taking any action against it, I don't know, but these are a couple of the incidents I've seen, and a couple, and as the gentleman, one of the gentlemen said earlier on about people standing at Exeter and chanting. We had a photo opportunity there where Carl, myself and Lawrence stood there smiling like loons with the crowd behind us. As soon as we turned our backs, what happened? Racist scum. Thanks a bundle. Are you not prepared to say that to me, to my face? Because I'm not a racist. I'm thinking, as soon as they said that, it was a finger in the air and then depart. So, I get back to my original question. Carl, lovely to meet you again. Lovely to see you here. Why?
Because it has to be done. It just has to be done. We can't allow things to carry on this way. This can't be our public dialogue. I mean, what we're doing is effectively some kind of democratic revolution, and like all revolutionaries, we're going to get pushback from the establishment. We're going to get attacked by the people who are invested in the way things are done at the moment, whether it's financially or morally or politically. But we've got to carry on because I shouldn't need to have anyone protecting me doing this. I'm really not a very controversial guy if you actually look at what I want politically.
I've done that.
Yeah, it's not very controversial, is it?
I do not find it controversial at all.
It's in no way objectionable. So why am I getting attacked by very otherwise fine people who, nice middle class, they pay their taxes, they go to their jobs, they're very well liked in their communities. What is it that is making them radical, making them violent? And it is the media. It's misrepresentation by the media. The media is deliberately coming along. I mean, and literally imagine this. You're sat there, you're reading the paper, and suddenly here's someone you don't know. You should hate them. That's effectively what the media is doing, and they buy into it. And as soon as I challenge them, they can't tell me what I've said, where I've said it, why I said it, what the context was, and it all just melts away. And you realize that these are just the sort of moral busybodies who feel the need to go over and give you a piece of their mind because they're offended. And that kind of tyranny is the sort of tyranny of political correctness, and it has to stop. We have to be able to have the tough conversations because these problems are growing like a cancer in our society. Like Tommy Robinson doesn't spring out of the ether fully formed. He is the result of a long process of injustice to get to the point where he's at. And we saw yesterday he's being attacked, bricks thrown, eggs thrown, the police cars were smashed. I mean, this is something that just has to be dealt with. And so you've got to take the slings and arrows. You've got to. But we'll keep going. And we'll go on to we'll keep doing these events. In fact, I'll be going around the Southwest once a month. I'm going to plan for. So coming up to the local elections next year. So hopefully we can do quite well in the locals. I'm not just going to run away. I'm not just going to quit. We've got to keep going, and I think we should.
Thank you. Thank you. And those comments are really the reason that I'm here, that I am standing, that I continually put my name forward. Continually, over the years I've been shouted at. Over the years I've had things thrown, and thankfully they've missed. But someday, I'm a big enough lump that I'm a big enough target. Somebody's going to get me. But thank you, Carl, because you sum up there the reasons why we want everybody to know the truth. The core of the argument. Now, the core of the argument for me about Europe is somebody mentioned a European police force. One of the main issues with the European Union is that they want a unified police force. At the moment, our police force is not armed. We have an armed section to it, but our police, we've got 3 policemen over there, they're not armed. Whenever you go to France, Germany, all these other countries, the police are armed. In unification, the demand would be that we follow the suit, follow the example of the rest of Europe, and we arm our police. I believe that is confrontation, and I believe that our police force should operate as they do now by consent. A unified armed forces is another one. Where we should be saying, are we proud of our armed forces? I am intensely proud of our armed forces. I'm sure that everybody here is. But do we want to see a unified armed force where we have Spanish, English, French, German combined as a force? Will it work? I doubt very much it will work. But those are just a couple of the issues. There are plenty more. You've been listening to them. I'll leave you now. Thank you very much for the chance to speak on the mic, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming up.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.